Good morning, folks. How are we all today? Hope we're well. Last one of the week. As you know, there is plenty in the weekends papers, but I need a break now and again. So the weekends I don't broadcast, as you know, unless I'm doing a cafe review or something like that when I'm out and about. But anyway, good morning, folks. Nice to see you all there this morning. I see Mr. Million has seen the headlines because he's trolling my thread this morning, trying to convince you all to educate others and how to see through the British propaganda. And that sort of behaviour is to be condoned. Now let's have a wee look and see who's in this morning. We've got Aki's, we've got Eddie, we've got Last Braveheart, we've got Kirsty Falls, we've got George Ewan, we've got Alistair Desert, we've got Rosie McGregor, Graham Eason, we've got Leipzig, John O, we've got June, Aki's. Who else we got? I see that Pete's Music's in today. Good morning, Pete. You're quite new to the community. Welcome. Who else we got? Good morning, Christina. How are you? I hope you're well, my dear. Lorna. Good morning. I said hello to June, I think. Aye, we're going the other direction now. Hi, Doug. Hi, City Flyer. Hi, Spanner Mac. Right, folks. Numbers are climbing nicely. So, we'll think about getting this underway. And it's some grim reading for party members of the SNP this morning. But there is a wee bit of light at the end of the tunnel, I can assure you. Okay, so it's Andy Truck Davy out the truck and at home in his office in Salisbury, North Lanarkshire, where it is overcast this morning. It's 14 degrees and cloudy. There is no rain in the forecast, so it will bloody well rain. Humidity for Mr. Milligan is at 82%, and the pollen count is moderate, and the main allergen is grass. Now that's how the weather is here in Salisbury, North Lanarkshire. If you want to know what the weather's like where you are, look out your rain, bloody windy. Alright, morning Doug, morning Ange. Morning class action. Right, where are we? Aye, the papers this morning. If you're an SNP supporter, it does look like grim reading. But when we get down to it, David and I were talking about this yesterday, and I said I was going to go and have a look at the Electoral Commission's data. And actually, the story of the last 4.5 years has been right across the park for all political parties, except for Reform, believe it or not, and the Greens. But we'll get into it. Okay, so first up this morning, we've got the Scotsman. What's the Scotsman got for us this morning? The Scotsman has SNP deficit hits 500k as members fall. Party insists its finances have been stabilised ahead of election. Now, folks, it is true. I've had a look. It is true party membership since 2015 has dropped by 70,000 people. And that has been typical right across the board. In the last 5 years, the SNP have lost 70,000 members. In the last 5 years, the Labour Party have lost 200,000 members. And there seems to be one thing that drives right through the middle of all this, and that is the fact that the cost of living crisis has accelerated. If you are a party member and it's 120 quid a year or pay your lecky bill, you're paying your lecky bill. And that's exactly what's happening here, folks. Less and less people who joined the party after the bounce in 2015 have a percentage of them with a joined on impulse, and they'll have forgot to renew right away. Bang. The following year it was down 10,000. And then, as I say, since 2019, 2021, the cost of living crisis has deepened. And when you're facing with feeding the bairn or paying your party membership, feeding the bairn comes first. As I say, it's right across the board. In the last 12 months after the election, there's been a buck in the trend for Reform, who don't have members. They're just saying they've got 250,000 subscribers. We do know the Green Party has taken on 5,000 of the members that have left the Labour Party. You see, the Labour Party, the Conservatives don't publish figures. The Lib Dems are doing, the SNP's doing. It would appear that the traditional parties are on their uppers, folks. People are looking for alternatives to the status quo. But as I did say, there is light at the end of the tunnel, and after we went through a few of these newspapers with the same sort of headlines, I'll tell you what the light at the end of the tunnel is, okay? Right, we'll take that down, because next up we'll get the Herald. So, the Herald is running on the SNP finance stories here as well, but it's a different angle they're coming at it from. And the way they're coming at it is, I don't know if people are aware of this, but every now and again when the SNP have had cash flow problems, Peter Muro, the ex-chief executive, would step in and give them temporary loans. Well, apparently he's thinking about writing off this one because of the state of the SNP finances. And, well, the Electoral Commission has no objection to that. It's nothing to do with the embezzlement, whatever the hell that is. Because we don't know what it is allegedly embezzled. But as I say, the SNP party membership's down, finances are tight. Looks like I'll be dipping my wallet again, no doubt David will and all. And if you can, folks, but eating and heating's more important these days, folks. And that's one of the main reasons why party membership's down. A premium membership for the SNP can be quite expensive. An ordinary member for working people is £12 a month. And if you're unemployed or on a low income, it's £12 a year. Right. Next up, we'll get the Rancid. And I don't put the Rancid up, folks. So what's the Rancid got for us this morning? Refugee crisis. Call in Red Cross. Thousands of homeless legal migrants stuck in bed and breakfast. And I say to myself, if they're legal migrants, they're no refugees. They've got their status sorted. And I have absolutely no doubt that with the shortage of accommodation, that lots of legal migrants are either putting themselves up in the Premier Inn for 100 odd quid a week or in bed and breakfast for 100 odd quid a week. There is, after all, an accommodation crisis right across these islands. Because as Westminster isn't spending housing, the SNP, who have built plenty of housing, just not enough, have had to find it out of other budgets. Because there's no consequences for such things. Okay, but refugee crisis. And then in the next line, they're legal migrants, so there's no refugees anymore. There are people living in B&Bs. They're probably working, probably paying their way, because there is a chronic shortage of accommodation. As we're all aware, there is a housing crisis right across these islands. Okay, so that was their answer for you. Next up, we have the Scum. And it's got mosque kill plot. Teen was snatched or snared at the door. And this is a story about a teenager in Aberdeen who had been radicalised online apparently and had got himself endeared with an imam with the idea of going into the mosque and setting the fucking place on fire with everybody in it. Wow. Anyway, the boy get 10 years. Can't name him for legal reasons, he's no 18. When the boy get 10 years, wow. What the fuck is going on? Unbelievable. Right, next up we've got Daily Fail, and I think that's going on the SNP woes as well, so let's get that up. The Fail, where are we? Yep, here we go. And it says, skint SNP has lost thousands more members. And that's true, folks. If you're wee Mrs. McLumford with 2 or 3 kids, 120 quid a year. And this cost of living crisis, where we've just been dealt with, where lecky bills are going up again by another 300 quid. You've got to have disposable income to be able to maintain party membership. Oh, you're late, Jeanette. Naughty step. Don't burn your arse in a candle. Right. So, SNP is skint. 500,000 in the red. Or the black, whatever it is. And we have lost thousands of members. We have. So's the Labour Party. So's the Lib Dems. Tories don't publish their figures. But I bet they're the same. The traditional parties, people are losing faith in them. Traditional politics, people are losing faith in. But the membership, that's mere down to money. That I can assure you. Right, take Fielding. And I believe the next one up's the Express. Now, it's not on the SNP plight. So before we move on, for the SNP's plight, folks, people might stop being party members, but the elections up until the Westminster election showed that they were still voting SNP. And polling shows that they are still going to vote SNP. But I want to tell you a wee story here that'll put a smile on your faces if you're feeling a wee bit despair in the party. 2005 to 2007, there was only 25,000 years. We won our first minority. 2002 to 2011, there was only 25,000 years. We won a majority. And we've been winning all the elections since then, with the exception of that one for Westminster, when the three-line slogan, vote Labour, get rid of Tory, or Labour for change. Nobody wanted to vote Labour. Just there wasn't any alternatives. And here in Scotland, the mugs fell for vote Labour to get rid of Tory. I don't think I'll make the same mistake twice. But when you're worried about the size of the party, remember, there was only 25,000 years when we won our first minority in the Scottish Parliament. There was only 25,000 years when we won the majority in the Scottish Parliament. It's a matter of the activists being active at the time of the election. So we're still double what we had when we won the majority in Holyrood. So we should have we should have enough activists to get out and about and talk to people. Now, when you're out and about, talk to them in the run of this election, remind them that if the unionist parties get in coalition or whatever, you're going to lose your free tuition fees, your free fucking prescriptions, your early granny pass for the buses, the kids' passes for the buses. You're going to lose it all. The baby box, the whole fucking lot. Because they want to bring us back in line. As Anna Sarwar has stated, he even wants to take the tax system back to being only 3 bands. So when you're talking to people on the run up to this election, remember what it is they stand to lose. And ask them if they can afford £9.90 for items on their prescription. You know, ask them if they want bridge tolls back. Ask them if they want peak railway fares back. Graham, from what I hear, champing on the doors in Perth North last week, members leaving is down to current independent strategy. There'll be a section of that as well, Graham. There will be. People see it as being further and further away. And the more the press push it further and further away in people's minds, then it's time for the kids to pick up the towel and start again. And if the independence parties don't hold the majority in that parliament next year, in 2026, I'll need to be readdressing how I look at things. Because it will be off the cards in my lifetime. And then I'm going to ask myself, do I want to do this every day? Do I want to be out there, talking to people on the street every day? You know? But, to be honest with you, Morgan and I have been at it that long now, we'll probably die at it. You know? Anyway, what was that? The Express. Well, no, it's the Express I'm putting up, I think, isn't it? Have I put it up yet? Here we go, the only rag the Express. What's it go for us this morning? Week Labour's Day of Shame migrant figures. 32,059, we gave you that number yesterday, asylum seekers staying in hotels. That's absolutely right. And if this lot get their way, they'll be on the fucking streets. The milk of human kindness, as I said yesterday, has died down that road. People have travelled from far and wide. 88% of them will be given asylum because they are fleeing persecution and warfare. And they arrive in these islands to be treated like that, surrounded by Union Jack and hate speech. Wow. They say the milk of human kindness is dead. In England, anyway. But if the press had their way, it'll be the same here. Next up, we'll get the Times. What's the Times got for us this morning? Let's have a look. And the Times has hotels for migrants face wave of protests. You have travelled across the globe looking for that safe haven and that ray of sunshine which profess to be the Commonwealth. And when you go here, you get hatred. Wow. Wow. Increasing reliance on chatbots leads to rise of AI psychosis. Apparently. Well, I'll do what I do. It's a tool. Always been a tool. How you use it is up to yourself. How you engage with AI is up to you. How it affects you is how you allow it to affect you. It's just another tool. Right, moving on for that. Next up, we'll get the Telegraph. What nonsense the Telegraph got for us this morning? Britain's facing an autumn of discontent. True. And according to this, nurses are going to go on strike, doctors are going to go on strike, railways are going to go on strike, everybody's going to go on strike apparently. So there you have it. But this term of discontent has been flying about since 2019 now. Summer of discontent, autumn of discontent, winter of discontent. It's always discontent. And that's because consecutive governments have continued doing the same stupid policy line, whether they be red or blue Tories. Ah well. Where we go after the Telegraph? We get a National. Let's see what the Nationals vote for us this morning, shall we? See if let's get in his put a smile on our face. Deep concern over rhetoric against refugees. Aye, there is a deep concern. There really is. Whatever it is that's infecting that mob down that road is creeping over this border. It really is. And groups join call to scrap offensive royal oath of allegiance at Holyrood. Have a vote on it, scrap the fucking thing. Charlie doesn't like it. Tell me on his credentials. Spanner. End of story. Viva la Republique, as they say. So that was a National for us. We're motoring this morning, he says before we go. After the National, we have the I. What's the I go for this morning? Are we still on refugees, do we think? Are we still on immigration? Asylum seekers? Starmer faces growing unrest over record asylum claims. Why would Starmer be facing it? Yep, he's in charge now, but did they create the fucking crisis? And to be fair, they're trying to clear the backlog. And I don't like being fair to Labour. And I certainly don't like being fucking fair to that fascist git Starmer. Zionist, genocide enabling, child starving, granny freezing, disabled bashing piece of fascist scum. I don't like giving them credit. But to be fair, the problem is Brexit related. Prior to Brexit, we were in the Dublin Agreement, and when people did come across in small boats, they were sent straight back. Brexit meant that we left that situation, and then people started flooding across because we couldn't send them back. But I say, I don't understand why Starmer's getting an egg for a situation that existed before he came to power. And as I say, to be fair, they're trying to clear the backlog, but they've been left with a hell of a mess. And I say, I don't like being fucking 30 fascists. I really don't. Hurt me there. Hurt me bad. So the next up we'll get the Metro. What's the Metro got for us this morning? 111,000 record asylum seekers. Let's say there's 111,000 people which have been sent straight back if we were still in the European Union. But we're not. So we just need to suck it up, buttercups. And when you get right down to it, it's a drop in the bloody ocean. A drop in the ocean. It really is. 111,000 a year in small boats. They biggie. What about the 750,000 that come in via other means? And the 500,000 who went out because they can't stand it fucking year anymore. Aye, I've seen that actually. With Jeremy Balfour. So, I mean, all this nonsense about this is the least of their problems. The least of their problems. It really is. We're bringing in about 750,000 a year, including this 111,000. And we're still short-handed. And even though unemployment's rising, we still have vacancies in the market for jobs that Indigenous people don't want to do. Okie dokie, let's get that done. So this is absolute utter nonsense. As I say, it's by design, it's the press who have driven it. And it's this incessant need to blame others rather than look at yourself in the fucking mirror and realise it's you that's making the mistake, it's you that's got us into this situation, and it's you who are going to have to take responsibility and sort it out. This always blaming the man before or the next one to come, and what we call fear politics and laying our blame. And it seems to be the right tactic at the moment to create or manufacture fear. Fear of the other. And the press are compliant in it, folks. There's no point kidding on. Them is the facts. Let's get the Guardian up. What's the Guardian got for us this morning? Revealed 83% of Gazan war dead are civilian. Israeli data suggests. And what it says is that attacks are carried out with no concern for non-combatants. Well, if anybody be fucking listening to the Israeli regime, they'd be telling you that even babies are combatants because they might grow up to resist occupation. And the establishment and these papers, the majority of them, are complicit in what's going on. Labour yesterday just signed a £2 billion deal with the Israelis to provide cyber training to UK forces. Starmer is a Zionist, fascist, and he's fully complicit in the genocide, and he needs to be taken to The Hague and jailed, along with Lammy and all the rest of the bought and paid for front bench of the Labour Party. They are making us all complicit in what's happening in Gaza. And I don't know about you people, but it's making me feel unclean. It's particularly hard on me because I know how combatants should behave. And what the Israelis are doing is nowhere near anything that's in the handbook, I can assure you. Okay. Right. This headline will cheer David right up, because him and I have been having a discussion on AI and how it's going to affect us in the future. And of course, David thinks it's going to be taking over and making decisions on our behalf. I don't see it that way. I see it as a tool. And my understanding of man is that we won't want to relinquish responsibility for ourselves. Although looking at some in society, they might. But I certainly don't. And AI for me will be a tool. But as I say, this headline will cheer David up, because apparently the godfather of AI agrees with David. So let's put it up. What's the Star got for us this morning? The Star has, it's already too late. We've bought no chance. And then it goes on to tell us that the guy who pioneered AI, I'll get his name now, Geoffrey Hinton, has warned the tech he developed cannot now be stopped and will take over the world. Sorry, Geoffrey Hinton. We've got a big fucking off switch in the corner. We just unplug for the internet and switch the fucking machine off. And that stops AI in its tracks. And if it becomes necessary, then that's exactly what will happen. But it's already too late, my arse. AI at this point in time is mainly used for analytics. It's about keeping it that way. It's about keeping control over it and using it as a tool. Because that's what it is. But, as I say, the Star, it agrees with David. I'm afraid the bots are coming for us, folks. That's it. The inevitable outcome of the invention of AI is it discovers that we are about as much use as an ashtray and a motorbike. We're dangerous to each other, we're dangerous to the planet, and the best thing to do is just let us fucking expire. That, of course, is the inevitable outcome of AI. If you watch too many fucking sci-fi movies. But for me, AI will never really intrude that far into my life because I've got an off switch. I can unplug my computer for the telephone exchange, which will take me off the internet, and I can switch it off at the wall. But hey, as I say, apparently, according to Geoffrey Hinton, who invented AI, it's too late, guys. The bots are going to get us. So there you have it. Been an interesting day in the press. But as I say, the sunshine in the dark when it comes to the SNP is there was only 25,000 years when we won the majority, when we won the right to that referendum. There was only 25,000 years. We've still got double that. And we'll still win next year's election, hopefully. Right, that's it for this week. I'll be back Monday morning, 10:30 day or again. David and I will be back Monday afternoon. They probably cover some of the things that have happened over the weekend and what the big talking points are. Alright. What the fuck is FaceTime? FaceTime's where you and I would maybe be talking to each other on a digital machine. Zoom, FaceTime, particular is go to Davey, and things like things like WhatsApp and things like that, where you can actually, like the old sci-fi days, you know, you get the picture of the person you're talking to. Right, that's it for today. I want you guys to have a wonderful weekend. I want to thank you all very much for continuing to watch in large numbers. I want to thank you all very much for continuing to help alleviate poverty in our communities. And thanks very much for being part of the community, because it is a big community. And you're an inspiration and the reason why we do it every day or every week. Okay, see you on Monday, 10:30. Don't be late, because I'm going to put a bigger candle on the notice there. Bye for now.